The Blue Jays right back at it tonight, opening up a weekend series with the Cleveland Guardians. You are watching Friday Night Blue Jays baseball, presented by McCain. And again, it's the Bassett Ball jersey giveaway night. Chris told me he was not involved in the design, but when he saw how it turned out, 2 thumbs up from the former All-State point guard near the Akron, Ohio area. But he's not thinking basketball right now. He's thinking baseball right now, and he's thinking all about the Cleveland Guardians. And when you talk about the Guardians, the first guy you got to look at is Jose Ramirez, one of the very, very best players in the game for many, many years. The Guardians are 23rd out of 30 in runs per game. They're 5 games over 500 despite a negative 24 run differential. They're winning very tight games, 7-1 in one-run games. And John Schneider said before the game, you got to play clean defense. They're going to put some pressure on you by putting the ball in play.
And if anybody can induce weak contact and pitch to the edges of the zone, it's Chris Bassett. 6 starts this season, that ERA just up over 2.5 right now. After giving up 4 runs to the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, he gave up his first 2 home runs of the season, 1 to Trent Grisham and, of course, 1 to Aaron Judge. But the sinker is the difference in his season this year. Think back a couple of years, 2023, when that sinker was an excellent pitch for Chris, and now he's using it again very effectively, keeping it away from the middle of the plate. Defensively behind Bassett on his Bassett Ball night, Anthony Santander is back out in left field. Miles Straw in center. Addison Barger, left-handed batter, gets the start against the left-handed pitcher. He's in right. Clementon Bichette on the left side, and Andres Gimenez back in there this evening against his old team. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first, and Alejandro Kirk for his 4th straight game back there behind the plate.
And if you're wondering, where's Dalton Varsho? A scheduled day off, said John Schneider before the game. There may be one here or there for the next couple of weeks as Varsho continues to ramp up, coming off the shoulder surgery. They're taking the long view with Varsho. George Springer is in the lineup, but he's the DH. Again, they're being mindful of his running around in the outfield as well. So you can see the Blue Jays definitely trying to look at the bigger picture at this point of the season. Underway with a guy the Blue Jays would love to keep off the bases, and that's Steven Kwan, an all-star a year ago. A 300 hitter, a guy with a little sneaky pop every now and again, but known mostly for his incredible contact skills. And he can hit it to right, he can hit it to left, he can hit it up the middle, he can hit it all over the place. 5th round pick Joe, who has turned himself into a terrific major league player.
A 3-time Gold Glover out there in left field, and an excellent contact hitter at the plate.
Yeah, 2 seasons ago, when a lot of people in these parts thought Dalton Varsho would and should win the Gold Glove in left field, Steven Kwan was the guy who was won it. As you say, he has won it 3 years in a row. So Varsho had to move to center to get himself a Gold Glove last year. And a night off for Varsho. Nathan Lucas alongside. Lucas had a couple of hits in last night's game. The 2-2 to Kwan. Sprayed foul left side.
Nathan Lucas probably had the quietest base hit of the night in that 8th inning off Slayton. Leadoff single after 1 out, and that's what led the way. Bo's double and Vladdy's 3-run homer. Nice piece of hitting.
Yeah, Justin Slayton, less than fond memories of the last couple of days in Toronto. But it happens. 2-2 and another foul back, and this is what Kwan can do.
So frustrating for a pitcher and a catcher because you love to end at bats early, keep that pitch count in check early in the ball game.
Down and away and a full count now on the Guardians' leadoff hitter.
See lots of life on that.
Down and away and a full count now on the Guardians' leadoff hitter.
See lots of life on that sinker from Bassett. Alejandro Kirk set up inside. He missed on the other side of the plate.
Already 7 pitches in here. In the air to left center field. Long run and caught by Miles Straw. A guy who has won a Gold Glove with Cleveland in center field a few years back. A nice running catch.
Well, I'm sure that does not surprise Stephen Vogt at all. Cleveland's manager has seen a lot of that. Miles Straw does as good a job as anyone out there. It was great to have Varsho back in the Blue Jays lineup and manning center field again, but Miles has done one heck of a job.
There's Stephen Vogt, second-year manager of the Cleveland Guardians, and a guy who back in the day was a catcher for the Oakland A's when a young pitcher by the name of Chris Bassett was just starting to establish himself at the big league level. In Bassett's first full 2 seasons in the big league, Stephen Vogt was his primary catcher.
Fond memories. He was talking about that this afternoon, and it said, tough guy to catch. You just don't know what he's thinking. And how many times have we said that? I think every catcher that's back there for Bassett, that seems to be the comment.
Yep.
And it makes it so difficult because there are so many options. Now he throws a ton of pitches, and we know he zeroes in on a few of them. But you're always trying to think along lines of your pitcher, and pretty tough to do with Chris.
Late swing and a miss there by Gabriel Arias, the second baseman tonight for the Guardians. He and Daniel Schneemann splitting the time at second, which, of course, until this year, was where Andres Jimenez was playing. 4 years with Cleveland as their everyday second baseman. 1-2 and an awkward hack at the breaking ball. Bassett strikes him out.
Well, it looked like the clear game plan there against Arias was to really slow it down. Came back with that slow curveball again. You see Chris's arm angle. It's dropped a little bit more this year again. The last few seasons, it continues to get lower and lower, and I think part of that is by design and certainly designing his pitches accordingly.
So now the most dangerous hitter in the Guardians lineup in Jose Ramirez. Bassett didn't get the call on that cutter in, and it's ball 1 on Ramirez. 261, 5 home runs, 15 RBIs. Not off to a blazing start, but a guy who year after year, as we mentioned, is among the best players in the game. And sometimes without a lot around him. Had a little more around him last year. Remember, Josh Naylor was a Guardian last year. Hit 31 homers, drove in over 100, but he was traded to Arizona in the offseason.
That rare combination of power and speed.
Yep. And a base hit between first and second and into right field. A 2-out single.
Chris is as good as they come at avoiding damage. I noted that he just gave up his first 2 home runs of the season against the Yankees in his last start, but you see him down in the zone there, staying away from the big part of the plate. And against a good hitter, you'll give up a base hit to Ramirez.
So now the cleanup hitter and the DH tonight for the Guardians, left-handed hitting Kyle Manzardo in his first full season in the big leagues. Was up for a couple of stints with the Guardians last year. Runner going. The throw down by Kirk, and not in time for Ramirez. Already his 8th stolen base on the season.
Well, Chris didn't do a bad job last season overall at giving his catchers a shot. at throwing out runners, but you see Ramirez wasting no time here, and he did get a pretty good jump. Kirk did all he could from his end, just a little bit late.
Ramirez now 8 for 10 on the season. At the plate, Manzardo, a former second-round pick of the Tampa Bay Rays. The Guardians got him in a deadline deal in 2023 for pitcher Aaron Civale. Cleveland had a surplus of pitching and traded Civale, got Manzardo back. And right now, he's their cleanup hitter. He's not hitting for much of an average. There's a lot of swing and a miss, but he does have a lot of power.
And that's where Chris will try to exploit that.
And he's hit this one well to right center field. Long run, Barger. Straw as well. And another running catch by Miles Straw. Raced into left center for the first out of the inning. Raced into right center for the third out of the inning. Moving to the bottom of the first here at the Rogers Center, and as always, Bo Bichette in the leadoff spot tonight. Look at John Schneider's lineup this evening. The usual top three, and George Springer's back in there, so the usual top four. A laser of a home run last night for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a three-run shot in the bottom of the eighth. Alejandro Kirk catching again. Barger in against a lefty. Ernie Clements had some success against the Cleveland starter tonight. Straw and Jimenez rounding it out. They'll get a look at left-hander Logan Allen.
26 years old, Logan Allen, 1-2 with an ERA now of 4.21 in his 5 starts, and that rose after his last start. 4 pretty good starts to begin this season. He had an ERA just over 2, but the Boston Red Sox, who we just saw, touched him up for 7 runs in 4 1/3 last time out.
Not an overpowering guy. 90-91 is about as high as he will get. 4-seamer, sweeper, change, cutter, sinker. So he's got a lot of different pitches. Second round pick in 2020. This is his 50th major league start.
The 4-seamer and the cutter in on right-handed batters, then he'll use that sweeper as a backdoor pitch. He'll start it in the left-handed batter's box and try to bring it back in. So the Blue Jays will be fighting that all night. Hard and soft away is about as easy a way to explain it as anything, and that approach has been good in baseball for years.
Here's Guerrero. And that one way inside for ball 1. Guerrero 1 for 6. The one a single in his career against Allen, who last saw the Blue Jays last June and gave up just 1 run in 5 innings. The Blue Jays have seen so much velocity this year. They haven't seen many guys like Logan Allen.
And that can be challenging in itself. You saw the first 4-seam fastball come into Vladdy, but there's that sweeping breaking ball that comes across the entire zone.
As you know, if you've been watching, he's heating up. 3 home runs in his last 21 at-bats. They'll lay off that sweeper outside. It's 2-2. And a changeup misses outside. Now 3-2. Santander on deck, getting a look himself. Well hit ball to left field, and it's going to be over the head of Kwan and off the wall. Guerrero on his way to second, and he is out. It caromed out to Kwan, who made a very good throw, and Guerrero out rather easily trying to stretch it into a double.
Yeah, that's one with Vladdy. He just hits the ball so darn hard, and even the way it caromed, you're rounding first as a base runner, and you pick up the left fielder. This is not on the first base coach. This is all you. And right here, you got to put on the brakes, because you see how Kwan corralled that ball, his momentum taking him into his throw, and he makes an accurate one to get Vladdy easily.
So a single and out, 7-4 on the put out at second. And now Santander swings at the first pitch. It lifts a fly ball to medium depth center field, and just like that, the inning is over. End of one, no score. One hockey game tonight, but it's a big one as the Jets will try to finish off the Blues. Hockey Central gets you set at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on Sportsnet, and then it's Game 6 from St. Louis, top of the hour on Sportsnet and CBC. A lot of excitement in the immediate aftermath of the Blue Jays win. The Leafs-Senators game was still going last night. Some people were filing out, but a lot of people were kind of hanging around, and whether they had TVs on the concourse. I went down to the radio booth. They've got a TV in there, and there were like 8 people crammed into the radio booth watching the game. And when the Leafs got the empty netter, you could hear yells from all over the ballpark, and you could look out on the field, and all the guys from the grounds crew who were, cleaning up the field, getting ready for tonight, with all their rakes and brooms and whatever, they were all raising them up in the air and cheering. And so apologies to the folks in Ottawa who are listening, but again, a lot of people here obviously Maple Leaf fans, and we'll see how the Leafs do in round 2 against the Panthers.
And the Jets trying to make it 3 Canadian teams to advance. Wouldn't that be something?
How about the Oilers?
Yes.
It would be great to see 3 Canadian teams amongst the final 8.
So cool.
Yeah. Bring that cup back north. 2-2, the count on Carlos Santana. Yes, the Carlos Santana. 39 years of age, 3rd stint with Cleveland. A guy who's always been a pain in the backside for the Blue Jays, whether it's with Cleveland or whatever other team he's been with. It's this one high in the air, deep right field, and gone. He has done it again. Just got to telling you how much damage he has done against the Blue Jays, and he adds to it with a home run here in the top of the second.
It is another cutter from Bassett, and I say another cutter because the 2 home runs, the first 2 home runs of the season he gave up at Yankee Stadium to Trent Grisham and Aaron Judge were both cutters as well, and you can see he tried to backdoor it. He tried to start it in the right-handed batter's box and catch that outside edge, but it came right back over toward the middle of the plate.
Now drops a curveball in for a strike on Bo Naylor for Santana, his 3rd of the season. Mississauga's Bo Naylor. Middle brother of 3. We told you Josh now with the Diamondbacks. Youngest brother Miles is in the athletic system at A-ball.
Josh been swinging a little bit, or Bo has been swinging a bit lately too.
Coming around. The overall numbers don't jump off the screen, but big hits in big moments for Cleveland. Must be a weird feeling to be in the big leagues and your brother's on the same team as you, and then they trade him. And everybody understands it's a business, but not many people go through that.
And that's a big bat for Cleveland that went to Arizona. It's hard to replace 30 home runs and 100 RBIs and Josh Naylor.
So they bring in Santana, and they knew Manzardo would have a bigger role, and Cleveland doesn't spend a lot, right?
That's right.
I mean,
you're up against it.
That's the primary reason behind the Andres Jimenez deal, is the money that Jimenez has coming to him on the contract. And there's a foul back just to our left, still 2-2.
Josh off to a good start out in Arizona as well for that Diamondbacks club. They'll always challenge in that ever tough NL West.
Again, the 2-2. And Bo Naylor does a good job getting a piece of it to stay alive. They've won 3 in a row, the Guardians have. Just took 3 out of 4 from the Minnesota Twins. Lost the first, won the last 3. Swing and a miss. A cutter up. That's more like the cutter we see Chris Bassitt wanting to throw to a left-handed batter.
And he's usually very good with it. I would say one thing that's been a big difference for Chris this season, in his improved season, is that he's been staying toward the edges of the plate much better. And the home run, it was not. That one was. Like a hole in the swing of a lot of left-handed hitters up and away like that.
So now the center fielder, Angel Martinez. And there's a Blue Jay tie for young Angel. Just in his second year, get a little bit of time with the Guardians last year. People may remember his dad, Sandy, was a Blue Jay catcher back in the 1990s. Played for the Blue Jays for parts of 95, 96, just a tiny bit in the 1997 season. And Sandy, his dad, his name is Angel Sandy Martinez. But first of all, super nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember him well from 95 and 96. He was Angel when he came up, and then changed to Sandy, which is his middle name. His son has been and is Angel. But interesting that dad was a catcher and son is a center fielder.
I don't want to say Sandy didn't look like a catcher, but he's a pretty athletic looking guy.
He was very, yes.
And
yes.
I remember playing against him a little bit. It might have even been in AAA Syracuse of the Blue Jays, and hit a cannon for an arm back behind the dish.
Nice man.
Doing nice for himself right here, too, in the opportunity he's getting.
Had a game-winning hit in the 10th inning yesterday in Cleveland as the Guardians beat the Twins 4-3.
Stephen Vogt hoping to get Lane Thomas back pretty soon. He's out with a wrist injury.
Outside and a full count on Martinez. John Kenzie Noel, the right fielder, a guy with a lot of power, is in the on-deck circle, and Bassitt's got a pretty high pitch count right now. They have made him work, taken some pitches, fouled off some pitches. And another one fouled out of play. Normal rest for Chris Bassitt. Originally, he was going to get the extra day. Remember, he and Gausman both started in the doubleheader on the same day in New York. They were going to give Bassitt the extra day because Gausman came into the doubleheader with the extra day. But after that 53-pitch inning for Gausman in that start in the Bronx, he'll get the extra day. He'll start tomorrow. Here comes Anthony Santander. A diving catch out in shallow left center to take a base hit away from Martinez.
Outfield defense on display here early behind Chris Bassitt. Miles Straw running 2 down earlier, and now it's Anthony Santander, and I think he was the only one that was going to get to this ball. See Miles pull up, and Santander makes a great diving catch.
Very nice play for out number 2. Now Jhonkensy Noel. And the first thing I want to do here, Joe, because I know you love to talk about how hitters set up. His hands, I don't know that anybody in baseball, wait till the hands come down. Unless he's changed it, there they go. I don't know that anybody in baseball sets up with their hands as low and as much, like almost behind them to their right side as Jhonkensy Noel.
First thing that came to mind is, remember Eric Davis?
Yes.
Kind of had that little bit in that area, but it looks to me like a slot that he's comfortable from, and that's where he's going to fire. Now, he's not swinging from there. He'll cock that bat as he goes, slightly, but it's a strong position. Think of a lot of times when you're teaching kids hitting, you think of throwing a punch. And if you're going to throw a punch, you're going to bring your fist right back down in that area to throw a strong punch, as opposed to your hands being away from you.
Right.
So I think what he's probably doing is trying to start from a strong spot.
And as you can see, he swings the bat hard. If he connects, it goes, but there's a lot of chase and a lot of swing and miss.
Just a cue for him to get to a spot where he can launch from.
Outside. This is the kind of guy you would think Bassitt would be able to handle, because he throws so many different pitches, and Noel will chase. He's not a guy who's going to foul off 5-6 pitches and extend it a bat.
And probably away. I'm thinking if I'm Chris, I am staying away from his power and staying away like that.
And he got him. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for Bassitt, but Carlos Santana has homered, and it's 1-0 Guardians.
Welcome back to Rogers Center, where we saw quite an advertisement over the last 2 games for the power of the long ball as the Blue Jays flipped 2 games on their heads with last late inning comebacks. 10 of the 11 runs the Blue Jays have scored over the last 2 days coming via homer, and the quality of contact metrics throughout that Red Sox series just off the charts. Barrel rate, balls in play over 100 miles per hour, both first in baseball. Average exit velocity, second in baseball. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. here in the first inning, keeping it going with a 113.5 mile per hour rope to left. Just don't ask what happened after that. Look, what's interesting about that Red Sox series is the Blue Jays had the 4th highest average bat speed across MLB in that series. Bat speed isn't everything, but coming into it, Dan, they had the lowest bat speed in baseball. A clear adjustment was made.
So, riddle me this, Joe. So they had the 4th slowest bat speed collectively until very recently, and then in the last series against Boston, the fastest bat speed in baseball. How does that change so drastically and so suddenly?
Those, for me, are numbers that are really hard to kind of extrapolate much from. I think hitting is such an individual thing. So are a couple of hitters really getting into pitches and selling out? And the volume of their swings and contact, it's really hard to say. I mean, logic says across the board, maybe they're just getting their pitch to hit and putting their best swing on it more often. And when you're facing, I don't want to say subpar pitching, but less than some of the pitching that they've been seeing early in this season, maybe you could take advantage of that. Maybe they could take advantage of it more against a left-hander throwing 90-91 instead of a right-hander like Tanner Houck throwing 95-96 with lots of movement. I mean, there's so much there that if you could just turn on a switch and do something,
Right.
you do it a little bit more often.
Springer takes inside. He'll draw the walk, and we check in again with Arden.
Well, talking to the Blue Jays hitting coaches Lou Ionati, David Popkins before today's game, they told me that the Blue Jays hitters met as a group before that series and committed to swinging more intentfully. They felt they'd fallen back on contact approaches, just putting the ball in play a little too much. They wanted to use our favorite phrase, Dan, get their A swing off.
We have certainly heard a lot of that. Into left field. I'll tell you who is getting his A swing off, and that is Alejandro Kirk. At bat after at bat, Joe, he is hitting the ball hard, either on a line or getting it up in the air, and he's being rewarded.
And that's a good example of it right here. So you've got a lefty on the mound for Kirk, the right-handed batter, and his fastball is around 90-91. So you know the guy throws a fair number of fastballs, and when he does, it's a lot of times he comes middle in, especially with the four-seamer. So look for something in that zone, and if you get it, it's 90. You can put a pretty good aggressive swing on it. And Alejandro's done a good job of that.
Addison Barger, a big cut, and he has popped it up in foul territory, and it will be caught by Carlos Santana for out number one. Now Ernie Clement will get his first look at Logan Allen. Clement's got 2 at-bats against Allen. They came in the same game last year. And Clement doubled in both of them. One on a cutter, one on a four-seam fastball. And Ernie said to me before the game, and he didn't like that call, Ernie said to me before the game, I'm really curious how he'll pitch me, because Ernie remembers what pitches they were. Logan Allen remembers what pitches they were.
And we know Ernie's a pretty good fastball hitter, and you see him starting off speed with the first pitch. There's another one.
And I think Ernie's unhappy again.
Ernie thinks it should be 2-0.
Yeah. And he got him. 3 sweepers in a row, and you can see that look from Clement. That's not about the swing and a miss on strike 3. That was his feeling about the first 2 calls.
So tough when you get behind like that. Now you are very defensive, and then you get swings like that, and you talk about fast swings or slow swings. That's going to be a slower swing. You're very defensive with 2 strikes, and you're fooled on a pitch.
So the runners are still at first and second, but now 2 out. And here's Miles Straw, who's hitting .304 on the season, and against lefties he's 7 for 20. That's a .350 average. And again, remember, this is Straw's old team, right? Most of last year at AAA. Wow, it's a big zone tonight.
The problem with that, the problem with that pitch, if you're Miles Straw, you've got to turn to the umpire and say that was never a strike. It's a left-handed pitcher. The ball starts in the left-handed batter's box, and it never comes back. That's the part as a hitter you don't get.
Well, and I'm sure John Schneider would say to you, that's fine, but Chris Bassett better get the same call. So.
And Miles is coming up after 2 at-bats. You got 2 on and nobody out, and 2 not very good at-bats. Addison probably chased a fastball in, not an ideal pitch to swing at first pitch that he popped up, and then Ernie had a tough one striking out.
Well located changeup right there, 2-2 on Straw. Who spent part of 2021, all of 22 and 23 with the Guardians, and again last year most of the time was with their AAA affiliate. Bounces this one fair. Ramirez will make the play. The Blue Jays get the first 2 men on, but they can't cash him in here in the bottom of the second.
Welcome back to Rogers Center on this City Connect Friday night. I'm taking in night mode from right here at the Catch Bar, having a great time. And this night is especially special for Chris Bassitt fans because it's all about him tonight. Now, something that you may not know about him is that Chris is a massive basketball fan. He has a huge passion for the sport. He actually grew up playing it in high school and in college. He even said that it has influenced his baseball career. Well, tonight fans are going home with, get this, their very own Chris Bassitt ball jersey in honor of just that. Now, there are also many activations around the ballpark honoring basketball and his love and his passion for the sport. So we're just having a fun time at the ballpark as usual. Dan, I'm going to throw it back to you and let's get back to the game.
Emily, thank you. You are right. A huge basketball fan. Chris Bassitt loves to talk college basketball. As we mentioned, an all-state point guard in high school. He told me he led his high school team in everything, Joe, including missed dunks. Chris able to poke fun at himself pretty well, but I get the feeling he was a really good player.
Maybe putting on too much of a show, eh? 6'5" guard. When you told me that, I want to see the rest of his team.
Yeah, 6'5" point guard. The ball was in his hands. Brian Rocchio, the shortstop for the Guardians, leading off the third. Cleveland up 1-0. Couple of strikes on Rocchio, who has not done much offensively, hitting just .200, but has quickly gained the reputation of being one of the better defensive shortstops in the majors. Was a Gold Glove finalist at shortstop a year ago. Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals won the award. Hitting coaches with the iPad, George Springer, who is DH tonight, probably wants to get a look at his at bat. Tyler Heineman listening in. Shallow right field, and in comes Barger, one down. So the giveaway tonight, the Bassitt Ball jersey, the first 15,000 fans, and a lot of the fellas had them on during BP today.
Support your teammate. They were sporting them pretty well. Pretty hot item for the players in the clubhouse. They were all taking them out and putting them on like it was Christmas morning around here. They had a lot of fun with that.
Now Stephen Kwan is up for the second time. A fly ball to center to lead off the ball game, and it was Kwan who threw out Guerrero, trying to stretch a single into a double for Quanjo, already his 6th outfield assist of the season.
You wouldn't think he's got the strongest arm in Major League Baseball, but he gets to that ball, sets his feet up the way he did everything so perfectly. That makes up for anything arm strength wise, and he threw a strike to second base.
And that's a fair ball between Clement and the bag. Santander will cut it off and hold Kwan to a single.
When you think Stephen Kwan, that's what I think. He will just slap it around, put it in play, good contact. You can see that sinker come back out toward his barrel, and he just shoots it by Clement at third base.
And now you got to respect his speed a little bit over at first. He is 4 for 4, stole 12 last year, 21 the year before. And Bassitt will try to keep him honest. Arias struck out his first time up. Inside, ball one.
That pitch right there is part of the reason why I think Chris has been much better with that sinker this year. Last year is in the middle so much. This year with lefties, he'll make sure that it goes all the way across the zone, sometimes in off the plate, sometimes away off the plate. With righties, he's making sure he gets in there just enough, so even that first pitch, it's a good message, and it helps set up his other pitches rather than just being in the middle.
Right in there again, and it's fouled off, 1-2.
On that edge, good place to be. And now you've done that a couple of times already. There's a good chance maybe you come back with that sweeper. Now something going away and softer. But if you're middle so much with your sinker, it doesn't. There's no message to the hitter. Everything looks good.
That is often a put-away pitch for Chris Bassitt. That cutter up, whether it's to righties or lefties, but too high there for a chase.
That's the one he got in trouble with against Judge. He was trying to do that, but he left it flat and on the plate.
Judge, by the way, named, not surprisingly, named American League Player of the Month today. For March, April, Pete Alonso with the Mets named National League Player of the Month. A lot of pitches in the early going for Chris Bassitt. Here's a fly ball to center and almost right at Miles Straw. Been a busy man tonight. 2 down. Now Jose Ramirez had a base hit and stole a base in the first. Last night against Minnesota, he stole his 250th base. He's the only active member of the 250 home run, 250 stolen base club. He's one of 24 to do it ever. And if he gets to 300, which seems like an automatic, he's only 32 years old, he'll be just the 9th player ever with 300 home runs and 300 steals.
And only the second switch hitter, right along with Carlos Beltran.
Right.
Just phenomenal numbers when you break it down.
Speaking of breaking it down, Kwan started and then broke it down at first base.
Well, you've got a really good hitter at the plate in Ramirez. He's got the hole over there. You can score on a double, so do you stay or do you try to take that bag? He's 4 for 4 this season, Kwan is. Get in scoring position for Ramirez. If you do, you got to make sure you got a shot. And Bassett's doing a nice job holding him on. You see how long he held the ball before he delivered the last pitch.
And part of it is just the threat of the steal, trying to get in the pitcher's head a little bit, catcher's head.
That's what speed does, puts pressure on the defense.
Not going. Swing and a miss, 2-1. I think this guy's on a Hall of Fame path.
Yeah.
Comfortably on a Hall of Fame path.
Not many others doing that, right? Yeah.
6-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger Award winner. Little dribbler. Bassett's got to hurry. Ooh, and it hit Ramirez, I believe. Ramirez is down. Around to third comes Kwan. And Jose Ramirez is still down. Something in the right leg. Maybe it wasn't the throw. Did he stumble over the bag? We'd have to get a look at a replay to be sure. But Jose Ramirez is about as tough and competitive as they get. It might have been that last lunging step with his right leg. Well, the throw hit him in the back.
He landed on that bag awkwardly.
Yeah, he was reaching down and touching his right leg when he was talking to the trainer.
Right there. Jace. I saw the helmet go flying. I thought maybe the ball hit him in the head, but it's certainly his leg that they're looking at.
Yeah. So, again, the throw also hit him, but that did not appear to do the damage. It looks like it's the right leg.
And as long as the runner is in the dirt there, he is fine, and that's where the ball hit him. So in terms of that, he's fine being in his lane. Bassitt had to rush the throw and clearly just took off on him arm side right into the runner.
And it looks like Ramirez is coming out of the game, making a slow walk back to the dugout. They are going to lose Jose Ramirez as Daniel Schneemann is going to come in and run and stay in the game at third base. And again, this is their guy. This is not only their best player, it's their leader, it's their heart and soul. I mean, Jose Ramirez checks every box that can be checked from a Guardians perspective.
He sure does. You saw the way he was running down that first base line, doing everything he could to get there, and he certainly rushed Bassitt and forced the bad throw.
So first and third with 2 down, and here's Kyle Manzardo. Schneemann again, the runner now at first. A curveball for a strike to Manzardo, who hit a fly ball to center field his first time up. Just for those who may be wondering, it looks like the scoring on the play is a base hit for Ramirez, and that's it. No error on Bassitt, say to allow Kwan to come to third.
It looked like Kwan had stopped at second base and then advanced after the throw went wild. But
one thing Bassitt's done extraordinarily well so far this year, as you can see, is get the outs he needs to get with runners in scoring position. He's trying to do that right here. Clement into foul territory, backpedaling, and makes the catch. And Bassitt gets out of it, stranding a couple of runners.
Download the app for the latest odds on today's baseball games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Woo! I love French fries. I didn't know that shot was coming. Daniel Schneemann will, I bet you he loves French fries. He'll stay in the game at second base. And Gabriel Arias has moved to third again with Jose Ramirez out of the game for the Guardians. If we get any more of an update, we'll let you know. Here's Andres Jimenez, got the day off yesterday, back in there tonight against his former team. And as you can see, he is going through it. Again, a great first week offensively, but has been struggling since. To his credit, has not taken it out in the field with him, has played every bit the kind of defense that John Schneider had hoped he would and knew he would. But they'd love to get him going. Right now, CB Bucknor's kind of in the Blue Jay crosshairs for the strike zone here in the early going. Bouncer to third. Arias charging, and a good throw on the run. A lot on it to get him.
Very nice play. Just slides over to third base, and he knows his old teammate can run, get down that first base line, so he knows he has to hurry. He does the right thing by coming to get right away and gets rid of the ball. right away accurately to his first baseman.
Top of the order, Bo Bichette, who grounded out his first time up. Let's see if second time through the Blue Jays have some more comfortable looking swings against Logan Allen. Small sample size, but the opposition hitting 175 against him first time through, 275 second time through, and then there hasn't been a whole lot of third time through, but opponents are 9 for 17 against him third time through. One and two.
Interesting that time. He kind of pulled that changeup. That is not where his changeup normally is going to go, and I'm sure as a hitter, Bo just reacted to that ball coming in there. Yanking it foul.
And he got him to chase the sweeper down for out number 2.
Bo gets into his 2-strike stance, and there's no leg kick, and he's just trying to see the ball and pick up the spin, but comes up empty with that one as he chases the sweeper in the dirt.
By the way, just if you're scoring the game, they now have assessed an error to Chris Bassitt, allowing Kwan to go from second to third.
Still a hit, though.
Yes, hit and then an error, allowing the lead runner to advance. 2 down for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Singled and then was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. One of 2 hits the Blue Jays have thus far. Alejandro Kirk has the other one. 2 balls and a strike. And a base hit into right center for Guerrero, so he is 2 for 2.
It's where Vladdy is just so strong with when he makes contact with the baseball. It's a 4-seamer, and you can see it coming in. It gets really deep on him, but he still gets the barrel to the baseball. He stays behind that very well and takes the base hit the other way. Very, very deep in his stance.
Now Anthony Santander hit a fly ball to center his first time up. And he'll take a fastball in for a strike, 0-1. Santander's first 4 years in professional baseball were in the Cleveland system. He originally signed with Cleveland and was taken by Baltimore in the Rule 5 draft after 2016. So even though it goes back a ways, no doubt he's still got some friends on the other side. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. Guerrero being held on at first by Santana. And outside again. 3 balls and a strike now on Santander.
I think you just have to pick a side of the plate. You have to pick the fastball middle in, or you have to pick the changeup sweeper away if you're these Blue Jays right-handed batters.
What's your guess on this pitch? In or away?
I can't imagine you come in on him. We know that the fastball has beat Santander, but not the Logan Allen fastball. He did get him with that fastball inside in his first at-bat, but I think he stays soft away. Depends who you are as a hitter, if you want to sit on soft, but to me you have to pick one, because if not, you might be in between with Allen all night.
3-1. In there, caught a lot of the plate. 3-2.
And maybe he was looking soft. It's what happens at the big league level, because you're facing so much and different pitching too, but sometimes you can almost psych yourself out a little bit and miss a good pitch like right there.
So Guerrero will be running. There he goes. And it's popped foul towards the first base dugout, and it will be several rows back into the seats.
think of Vladdy's hit to right field there. I mean, he's not laid on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but was he sitting soft and he reacted to it, and that's why it got so deep? Probably not tremendous bat speed, probably not tremendous exit velocity, but it's a pretty good piece of hitting.
And that one bounced in. Went with a breaking ball, tried to get Santander to chase, but he walks him, and now a couple of men on for George Springer. So Springer getting the night off last night and back in there, but as the DH tonight, he walked his first time up.
And I think George's the type of guy who look middle in from one of these fastballs.
Get his A swing off, you're saying?
Take a good swing right there, just inside the good take, but that's the idea. This is what Allen's going to do with that, or the soft stuff away.
Yeah. Springer is chasing at a career low rate, walking at a career high rate. We haven't seen him fooled or jumpy in the box all that often at all this year.
And if he's looking fastball in this at bat when he walked up there, you take that first fastball because you're looking for it, saw it real good. You take that off-speed pitch because you saw the spin right away, laid off it.
He has seen it. He's been seeing it well all season.
And that's what you just wonder. And as a catcher, I'm trying to get in the hitter's head too, what he's doing.
And now you give him a shot here, right? You absolutely give him a shot if he wants it.
Can't get any greener.
Yeah. He didn't want it. 3-1.
Didn't look like he offered that at all. But they know they've got a pitcher second time through now that they want to keep working.
And he's unhappy. Thought that was ball 4. And if the hitters are unhappy, the manager's not far behind him. So now Guerrero from second, Santander from first. They'll both be running 3-2. The count on Springer.
Interference.
Yeah. Catcher's interference. Springer was pointing right away, and CB Bucknor is telling everybody, so the inning's not over. The ground crew's coming out. They just saw the fly ball. Guys, the inning's not over. Everybody back to your stations.
Our fantastic sound, we could hear it.
Definitely catcher's interference on Bo Naylor, so that is an error charge to Naylor. No time at bat for Springer. Springer down to first, and the bases are loaded, and pointed right away.
Bo pulled that glove back immediately, knowing you feel it as a catcher. It's not a lot, but you can hear it. George knew.
Yeah.
Hold up, guys.
Not so fast, my friends.
Had to call an audible.
So a base hit, a walk, and a catcher's interference call have loaded the bases after 2 were out. And you know what? Given the way things are going right now, you're pretty happy with the guy at the plate because Alejandro Kirk is hot over the last week.
Right guy, right spot. We've said a number of times over this last week or so that Alejandro has heated up. This is what they have missed. His bat being productive.
He jumped on the first pitch he saw from Allen an inning ago and lined it in left for a base hit.
Looked like he tried to really juice that in there. Went with the fastball, but made it one of his best.
And a base hit to left. Guerrero's in. Santander's on his way to the plate, and he's in. The ball gets away. Springer's at third. Kirk into second, and the Blue Jays have the lead.
Well, indeed, Alejandro stays hot. Right guy, right spot. He has been swinging a hot bat. Keep an eye on Santander at second base. A huge secondary lead. He's getting way off of there because he knows if there's a base hit, I've got to try to score for Kirky, and he does. This is going to be a very close play, but even if the catcher comes up with that baseball, because of that secondary lead, that's why Santander is going to be safe at home.
So a base hit, 2 RBIs for Kirk, a throwing error charged to Kwan. That's one of those tough errors for an outfielder, but The ball got past Naylor, and that allowed Kirk to go from first to second. So that's why the error was assessed. And here's Addison Barger quickly in the hole 0-2.
It's tough because as a catcher, you feel you got to come up with that baseball. It's not fair to give the outfielder the error there, but that's the way scoring goes in baseball.
Swing and a miss by Barger. Allen gets him to end the inning, but Alejandro Kirk comes through again. He's had a lot of big hits over the last week, and this liner to left scores a couple and gives the Blue Jays the lead.
Alejandro Kirk 2-run single wasn't exactly what we're used to seeing from him over the last week. He's been making a ton of hard contact, and this is why. Beneath the surface, over the last 8 or 9 days, he has cut his chase rate. He's using all fields more often. He's hitting line drives more often, and he's swinging the bat faster, which is something that he is doing intentionally, trying to create some more of the hard contact we've seen from him. And look, he fights off this cutter, and it's only 90 miles per hour off the bat, but that's the hitting ability that Alejandro Kirk has. He's always had that contact ability. He's always managed the strike zone well, but the power just hadn't been there earlier this year. That's why Blue Jays hitting coaches were working with him on some of those adjustments that I took you through earlier. Kirk told me all I'm thinking about is having a great at bat. The results are going to come. It's most important for me, and especially for my teammates, to see the most pitches that I can. I'm feeling good. I think I've been having good at bats, and that's led to solid contact, and now the results are showing up.
They are, Arden. He is now 9 for his last 21, and big timely hits as well for Kirk. Again, who's getting more playing time than he's ever gotten. This is his 4th start, not only in as many games, in as many days. A bouncer to second off the bat of Carlos Santana. A very good outcome there for Bassett to get rid of Santana on one pitch. Santana homered in the second. Back to Kirk. You and I both thought Tyler Heineman would play today because Kirk had caught 3 in a row, but we talked to Ross Atkins, who had some availability with the media before the game today, earlier this afternoon, and he said, listen, every day they look at things like bat speed and foot speed, and the strength and conditioning coaches are involved, and day by day they are assessing, does this player need a day? Can he go again? Bo Naylor drives one. Deep center field and gone. Big time power from Bo Naylor. His 5th home run of the season, and that will tie it.
And that is what I was talking about when he came to the plate his first time up. Not a ton of hits lately, but he is doing some damage, and this ball was pretty well gone when it left the bat. It's just a sinker from Bassett trying to go away, and it stayed middle in, but Bo puts an excellent swing on this pitch and drills it over the wall in center.
So the second home run given up tonight by Bassett. He didn't give up any in his first 5 starts. Gave up 2 to the Yankees last time out and 2 so far here tonight. Fortunately for Bassett and the Blue Jays, they're both solo shots.
Well, getting back to Alejandro, I think it seems like his moves are a little bit smaller. It just seems like he's being more efficient with his body, because oftentimes when you get big, when you get out there and you don't control that forward move, your body gets in the way, and your body what I mean by that is it gets in the way and you're not swinging the bat as efficiently. Well, what's that do? It lowers your bat speed. So he's not going to be as smooth and efficient with that swing. And I think also when you're controlling that move, you're not going to chase as much. You see the ball a little bit more and you stay on it a little bit longer. So not so much pull, use the whole field. And who knows, right? He got the big contract extension, and maybe as a human being, right, you just feel like you want to do more and you're pressing a little bit. But he is certainly in a good spot now, a month into the season.
Yeah, he never has to worry about swing and miss. He's got elite contact skills. It's just the quality of the contact that will dictate the results.
And I think in the past couple of years, when we've talked about him playing so much and maybe fatigue setting in, you get late in the season, what's a hitter do? When you lose your legs, you try to do more with your body, and that's the worst thing you can do. So hopefully they can continue to keep him strong and in a good spot where he can do his thing behind the dish, but more importantly, keep swinging it.
2-2 the count on Angel Martinez, the Guardians center fielder. And that's right there. A sinker that got a lot of the plate for strike 3 call. Fourth strikeout tonight for Bassitt.
Well, there's that sinker, and it all depends. When you watch highlights, you'll see this, but you'll see Bo Naylor's home run, a very similar pitch, and then a called strike 3. Well, it's because Martinez just saw a variety of pitches. Cutters, a slow curveball, and then he mixes in that sinker at the bottom of the zone. Bo Naylor didn't wait around. He saw a first pitch sinker he liked.
There's John Kenzie Noel, the right fielder. He struck out his first time up. Bouncer to third. Clement has it. And the throw right on the money to get him. The Bo Naylor homer, though, has tied it at 2 going to the bottom of the 4th.
Welcome back to Rogers Center for some Friday Night Blue Jays baseball presented by McCain. Now tonight, McCain is serving up a vision for a more sustainable future, and they've got a great activation here. Fans have been able to check it out, take some photos, learn more about their regen fries and all about their regenerative agricultural practices. Of course, this is all part of their mission to grow food that is better for the planet, one fry at a time, although I'm not sure I could do just one fry. Dan, sending it back to you.
What do you mean by one fry at a time? I'm not familiar with that phrase. Tied at 2 going to the bottom of the 4th here at the Rogers Center. Glad you're with us here on Friday Night Blue Jays baseball presented by McCain. Bottom third of the order, Ernie Clement, Miles Straw, and Andres Jimenez against Logan Allen. Remember the first at bat for Clement, 3 sweepers. The first 2 called strikes. Clement didn't agree with either one of them. And then he chased strike 3, got a changeup there on the first pitch and on the second. So Logan Allen not in the mood to give Ernie Clement any fastballs yet tonight. Poke down the right field line. A long run, Noel. He's not going to get there, but it is a foul ball.
Well, I think after what Ernie did last season, I think it gets around the league a little bit more. He got more playing time as a full-time player and handling the fastball much better than the breaking ball. So teams will challenge him a little bit more this year in that regard.
About 6 inches away from being a fair ball. Tried to sneak a fastball by him, but he missed up and away. Another ball in the air to right. This one, though, is playable for Noel, and out number 1. Now Miles Straw, who bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up, has already, though, had a lot of value in this game. A long running catch into left center in the first inning, and then a long running catch into right center to end the top of the first inning. Getting the start in center with Dalton Varsho not in the lineup tonight. As always, a little bit of pacing in that third base dugout for Chris Bassitt. I don't know if Allen is trying to throw the fastball further away than he was earlier, but I mean, he was dotting some fastballs down and in a little bit, and now he's missing up and away a lot.
Try to overthrow a little bit. Might miss back arm side there a little bit. If you try to come in hard on these right-handers, and he's been pretty effective with that four-seam fastball, that front side flies open a little bit and the arm trails, that's when you'll miss up and away.
Straw lifts one to right center field, but on to make the catch Martinez, 2 down. Now Allen will face his ex-teammate Andres Jimenez, who grounded a ball to third base in his first at bat. And at the last moment, Arias at third jogged in about 6 steps, maybe reminding himself, hey, he might drop a bunt down for a base hit.
Left-handed hitters have actually been able to get to Allen a little bit this year, but it's a very small sample because he hasn't faced many of them.
Again, Noel coming over. This one will be out of play. 1-2.
And so far, he has handled Barger and Jimenez easily. He'll go away with that sweeper, I'm sure. Fastball.
And Jimenez asked for a timeout with a count 1-2. Up the middle, and a nice play there by Rocchio, the shortstop, but safe at first is Jimenez on what should be scored a base hit.
Good at bat that time by Andres, and what a play by Rocchio. He came up with this baseball and knew he had to hurry, and he may have had him at first base. Gets to his feet very quickly.
And it is indeed a base hit for Jimenez to keep the inning alive and send it back around to the top for Bo Bichette. Bichette has grounded out and struck out. Big hole on the right side of the infield. The second baseman Schneemann basically playing up the middle. And it's 0-2. Bichette's not having any fun here with Logan Allen so far tonight.
No, whatever he's thinking, it was wrong. He was guessing wrong there because that looked like a swing. Maybe he was looking for the fastball more middle in.
Ball 1. And a fly ball to shallow center. Martinez is there, and that's the inning. Through 4 at the Rogers Center, all tied up at 2.
Well, here's Max Scherzer this afternoon throwing a, quote, heavy 2-inning bullpen. And what that means is that Scherzer was essentially throwing the highest volume of pitches at the highest intensity since his second cortisone shot in his right thumb a couple of weeks ago. Now, Blue Jays manager John Schneider said Scherzer threw all of his pitches. They all felt good. He'll likely throw another bullpen sometime early next week. But if all continues to go well, facing live hitters would be next, either here or Dunedin. Of course, in the meantime, the Blue Jays are going to continue to need a fifth starter going forward. We know the in-house options such as Eric Lauer, Easton Lucas, Jake Bloss, who Ross Atkins had some very encouraging things to say about today. Interestingly, Atkins also mentioned that the Blue Jays are looking at some external free agent depth options and could be signing a depth starter in the coming days.
Arden, thank you. So a lot to unpack there. Let's start with Scherzer. Again, a heavier bullpen, more pitches, more intensity. But really, Joe, it's one step at a time. Nobody wants to get too far down the road in terms of, well, he'll do this on this date and then that on that date. And I think with Max, more than anybody else, he doesn't want to get too far down the road emotionally about it. I think we all know what Max Scherzer is doing here. I think the picture tells the story. So, then is it facing live hitters? Then is it doing a bullpen? Eventually, they got to get him, if everything goes well, they got to get him into some minor league rehab games. It's still several weeks away.
It's still a ways away. And I spoke to him today in the clubhouse after he threw that bullpen session that Arden was just referring to.
Rocchio with a fly ball to left for out number one.
And he was intense, as we always see Max. He was simply telling me about his bullpen session, and I thought he was pitching Game 7 of the World Series. He was looking at me, and he was talking about that buildup, and exactly what you were just saying. So you finish a bullpen session, and what he liked about today is that he was able to use the intensity with all of his different pitches, and that's a step forward. So then, yes, you just continue. But it's not going to be right away, that's for sure. So we'll certainly have to do something with that spot.
Right. So in the meantime, Eric Lauer is on the staff now and would obviously be a big part of whether it's as a starter or a bulk guy for that next time around. You heard Arden mention that Ross Atkins mentioned Easton Lucas and Jake Bloss. A number of questions were asked about Bloss, who has had back-to-back very good outings after a rough start to the season. Ross Atkins said they'd like to see, one or two more consistency. But Ross also said if they had to, they'd feel comfortable bringing him up right now if they had a need. And Bloss, certainly, you look at the stuff, and it sure looks like big league stuff. It's about controlling the at-bat, command in the strike zone, that sort of thing that's going to take Bloss to a more consistent level. In the air to center field. Straw gliding over, 2 down. One other name is Adam Macko, who figured to be a starting pitcher with Buffalo and a depth option for the Blue Jays. He had knee surgery, a meniscus procedure back in the spring, and he has ramped up in terms of multiple inning bullpen sessions down in Dunedin at the PDC, but he hasn't started throwing in rehab games yet, and that obviously is a threshold he'll have to cross before you start thinking about him seriously as a possibility.
And you're thinking about all of these names because it is a long season, and the last thing you want is for any of your other starters to go down and miss any time. But in the meantime, you're trying to make sure your starters you have stay rested.
We've got a situation here, Joe.
I'm guessing Max will get it.
Now, is he going to go get a new one? Yeah, it looks like Arias is going to take a new one. He doesn't want to wait for that one to be retrieved. This could be easy. It could be not so easy.
We need a volunteer in the stands.
No. Might be in there for a while. That's wedged in there pretty good.
It's pretty good, especially the size of that knob, right? Got some of that tape on there.
Amazing what you can see when you go to a baseball game.
There's going to be a very tall ladder between innings coming out, I think.
Max has a captive audience right now. Eric Lauer on one side, Bowden Francis on the other. the mound. And what a play made by Andres Jimenez. Racing over from his side of the bag and getting a lot on a very accurate throw to get Arias, who runs pretty well. Bat going by Bassett. Here comes Jimenez. And the Guardians are retired.
Back to Rogers Center on the City Connect Friday night. I'm here at the Corona Rooftop Patio, a spot that really has it all. I mean, you want a bird's eye view of the game, we got you covered. You want to crack open a beer with a couple friends and chat, we got you covered too. And don't even get me started on the food, because if I dive into these brisket sliders, I'm probably not going to stop. So I got to get out of here. I'm going to head back to the studio, and Dan, I'll send it back to you in the booth.
Emily, thank you very much. She is having a good old time here tonight. This game is tied up at 2 going to the bottom of the 5th. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading it off. Wow. That's a spot where that's been a strike a lot, and credit to Allen for exploiting it.
That's what he's talking about early, about Hardy and soft away. He'll use the four-seamer cutter in there, but he'll use that sweeper back door. And if you're getting calls like that, you keep at it, and he's done it.
Two balls and a strike on Guerrero, who's got a couple of base hits tonight. One to left, one to right. Liner to right and carrying out to Noel, who makes the catch, one down. Meanwhile, what everybody wants to know is, did they get the bat out of the screen between innings? The answer is no. And it wasn't for a lack of trying, Joe.
Still no ladder.
No ladder.
I was wondering about the people in the first and second row there as they were shaking that net, but I'm guessing the only way it can come out is from the handle onto the field.
Side, yeah.
But I don't know. Might be cutting some netting before the end of the night.
This is what was going on in between innings. A lot of oohing and eyeing from the fans.
Is that, did it become looser, or is that,
I don't know, something's different, yeah. It might be up there for the duration. Anthony Santander has flied out and walked and scored.
Continues to see a lot of fastballs. So despite the velocity being way down from what the Blue Jays have been seeing, Logan Allen and the game plan seems to be to stay hard with Santander.
Sent to pretty deep left field, but Kwan is back to make the catch for out number 2 as we go down to field level and Arden Zwelling.
Thanks, Dan. Quick update from the Guardians on Jose Ramirez, who obviously left the game after this tough stumble in the 3rd inning at first base. The Guardians telling me that Ramirez has been diagnosed with a mild right ankle sprain. A mild right ankle sprain, Dan.
Arden, thank you. Didn't appear to roll it, but maybe just the awkward lunge and the force that the foot came down with on the bag. And for Stephen Vogt and the Guardians, The best word is mild.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's going to knock him out for the weekend, but probably more information coming after the game. George Springer has walked and reached on catcher's interference. Fly ball hit well. Deep center. It's gone! Number 3 on the season for Springer to put the Blue Jays back on top.
Away, 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 and he came back with a sweeper out over the plate, so nothing hard in this time, and George was all over this pitch. Couple of change-ups away, comes back into the count with the cutter on the outside part of the plate. But when you keep seeing soft, to me it's advantage hitter, and he left that sweeper right out there.
The Blue Jays with 3 home runs on Wednesday night, 2 last night, 1 tonight. Continuing to see signs that the power bats are coming around. Alejandro Kirk 2 for 2 tonight. Couple of base hits, and he drove in 2 runs in the third. One more look at the home run.
And here's that sweeper. We've seen a lot of these pitches from Allen tonight. Look at George with the body tilt over the plate.
Now a fly ball to shallow right. Noel is in to make the catch, and that'll end the inning. But thanks to Springer, the Blue Jays have the lead. Let's get an update now with Brad Fay. Drama continues here at the Rogers Center. Yeah, the home run was pretty cool, but we're talking about they finally got the bat out of the screen. Finally got the big ladder that Joe had been clamoring for, and right when they put the ladder up against the screen, the bat just drops out.
What? Whoa! You know, there were a couple of foul tips that inning. Maybe it hit the back, the netting, and jarred it a little bit, and jarred it just enough to get her down.
Pretty good camera work, too.
Oh, yeah.
Our crew. Meanwhile, Pete Walker's on the phone. You know what that means. Somebody's going to be getting up to the bullpen. Chris Bassitt with a 3-2 lead heading into the 6th inning. He has thrown 86 pitches. And a lot of that was really the first 3 innings. That was where the deep counts and the foul balls, and they kind of got his pitch count up early. He's been more efficient the last couple of innings. Here's Daniel Schneemann. It was Schneemann who came on after Jose Ramirez had to leave the game. Schneemann, a 33rd round pick. Back in 2018, it was made good by getting to the big leagues. And when you're a 33rd round pick, what do you want to be? Versatile. And Daniel Schneemann has played 6 different positions in his 95 games in the big leagues over the last 2 years. Chad Green getting loose. liner to right center field, and that's some trouble. It's down. Barger cuts it off. Schneemann on his way to second. Barger's throw not in time. A leadoff double for Daniel Schneemann.
Now Schneemann runs well, and he was thinking too right out of the batter's box despite the arm of Addison Barger. See this ball hit, and he rounds first very aggressively and gets in there with the leadoff double.
And now Alejandro Kirk heading out to the mound. This might be to buy a little bit of time for Chad Green to really get it going down in the bullpen. They're also having a conversation about Kyle Manzardo, the next hitter.
Well, dangerous hitter. He said that the damage he's been doing is with the long ball, so they have to be very careful here.
8 home runs on the season in 117 at-bats.
They've gotten him twice, and I think he's a guy you want to stay away from.
And there's power in the 2 spots behind him, too. Carlos Santana on deck. He's homered tonight. Bo Naylor behind him. He has homered tonight.
Manzardo won't just be trying to move the runner over by pulling a ball. He's trying to pull one deep to right.
High in the air to left center. Straw going back to make the catch. Schneemann tags on his way to third and in there.
Well, this is a fly ball. When it was first hit, I wasn't sure it was going to carry deep enough for him to tag, but Schneemann does a nice job by reading this. When you're on second base with nobody out, you want to make sure you get to third here if you can. And just when he made that decision that it was deep enough, he gets to the bag to tag up, and now he is at third with 1 out.
Which means the Blue Jays are bringing the infield in. Schneemann representing the tying run. Carlos Santana the batter. And a curveball misses outside for ball 1. This guy's had a very long, very good career. Over 1,000 RBIs. The home run he hit earlier tonight, his 327th career home run.
Interesting to see how much he goes after him here. Behind 2-0. Worst case is you've got a guy on deck that maybe you can get a ground ball double play from, and Naylor.
On the inside corner, 2-1. It's a foul ball, and it's 2-2. Bassett, you'd imagine, getting near the end at 95 pitches right now. The most he has thrown in a game this year, 106. And he did that in his first start of the season way back on March the 30th against the Orioles.
Naylor homering off him in his last at bat, so you wonder if this might be his last batter. Chris could just be buying himself a little breather there with that disengagement.
The 2-2. Breaking ball blocked by Kirk, a full count. There's Naylor. No doubt he's got a lot of family and friends here at the ballpark tonight.
Must be special every time he comes back to play here in Toronto for sure.
Popped up, foul. Clement coming over near the dugout. It's out of play. This guy's a tough out, man.
Tough out, much better fastball hitter too. I was expecting Chris maybe to come back with the slower curveball or something soft. He has not been as effective. Santana hasn't on the breaking stuff this year in slow start.
Doesn't seem to matter who he's playing for, which side of the plate he's hitting from, if he's hot or cold. When the Blue Jays see him, he's a tough out. And he's got a base hit into right, and that will tie the game.
He went after him. There was no question Chris was going after him. And that's the last pitch he's going to throw.
So Bassett will go 5 1/3. He's been charged with 3 earned runs. Santana is his responsibility, and Chad Green is coming in. Well, we know there will be at least one first round of Game 7. It's the Avs and the Stars tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sportsnet. The winner of that moving on to face the winner of the Jets and the Blues. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sportsnet. And it's Chad Green in from the bullpen. This game's tied again. It's now 3-3, 15th appearance of the year for Green, and facing Bo Naylor, who homered in his last at-bat.
Chad gave up a 2-run homer in his last outing on Wednesday against the Red Sox. He's trying to keep Mr. Naylor in the ballpark in his homeland here.
And Green has been hurt by the home run ball on the young season. He's given up 5 home runs. This one in the air to right, towards the corner. With room is Barger to make the catch. 2 down. Bassett no doubt going over certain pitches in that start. He's a tough self-evaluator.
Sure. Well, he's probably aiming for perfection, right? And you don't get it, especially with that last guy in Santana, not able to put him away.
There's Matt Festa up in the bullpen for Cleveland. The Guardians just selected his contract today from AAA Columbus. Now Martinez with a fly ball to center, backpedaling his Straw. And Chad Green gets a couple of quick fly ball outs. All tied up at 3.
Echo Beach, far away in time. Echo Beach, far away.
Fans, you can grab a Flex Pack starting at just 3 games. Flex Packs gives you the flexibility to choose the games that work for you. You can pick your favorite matchups, promotions, and theme days. Of course, visit BlueJays.com/FlexPacks to build your pack today. Guys?
Emily, thank you very much. A crowd of just over 26,000 here on a Friday night. 3-3 going bottom 6. Logan Allen still on the mound for the Guardians. And he has retired Addison Barger both times he's faced him. The righty Festa is still up in the pen, and a couple of right-handed batters scheduled next for the Blue Jays. One and two.
Bit of a floater there. That one stayed up in the zone and may have fooled Addison, because that's the one you want to punish.
The outside corner, it's even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hitting coach David Popkins looking on from the third base dugout, and he sees Barger swing through it for strike 3.
He has done a nice job at changing speeds tonight on these Blue Jays hitters. He's used the 4-seam fastball middle in. He's slowed things down with the sweeper. And then that looks probably about 98 to Barger after those slow breakers.
And Stephen Vogt is going to leave the lefty in to face a couple of righties here. So Ernie Clement will get another look at him. A strikeout and a fly ball for Clement tonight.
It's the motto: pitch, 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 and try to score enough runs to cloud a victory. Stephen Vogt knows lots about that.
It's the most pitches that Logan Allen has thrown in a game this year. That's number 100 right there as he gets the call, and it's 2-1. Out of play, 2-2.
That 4-seam fastball has just enough on it to keep you off of the sweeper, and vice versa.
And you can see with 2 strikes and the strike zone tonight, Clement, probably a very wise decision just to go after that one and fight it off. Foul back.
That's the one I mean right there. Like, that's 90 right there out over the plate, but with the variety of pitches, the sweeper, the changeup, that fastball's got enough giddy up on it that you can't quite get to it.
Right center field, and it is caught. Noel went a long way, but he makes the catch out in right center to take a base hit away from Clement.
He's playing Ernie Clement over toward the line a little bit, so he had a long ways to go. The big man made his way over just enough, coming way over from the near the right field line. Angled that a little bit. I'm not sure if that was by design, but it worked.
And that is all for Logan Allen. He will leave in a tie game with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
Try new McCain Regen fries, made exclusively with potatoes grown using regenerative agriculture practices.
Tie game here in the bottom of the 6th, the first game of 3 between the Blue Jays and Guardians over the weekend. And this is Matt Festa, who just 2 days ago was acquired by Cleveland from Texas for cash considerations. He had been at the Rangers AAA affiliate. And now here he is in the big leagues, making his first appearance as a Guardian.
Another guy, not a real hard thrower. He'll just be around 91, 92 miles per hour. There's 93 with the fastball. A sweeper and a cutter to go with it.
He has pitched in the big leagues for the Mariners, the Mets, the Rangers previously. Nathan Lucas pinch hitting for Miles Straw. You talked about that base hit that Lucas had last night, one of the 2 that he had. A 1-out single in the 8th. Then after that, Bichette doubled into the right field corner. And right after that, Guerrero hit his 3-run homer.
I told him today quietly it was probably one of the biggest swings of the night. He just looped a single into shallow left center field on a 2-strike pitch. A nice piece of hitting. Pretty defensive with 2 strikes as he is right here, but that got things rolling.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner to end the inning. Tied at 3 at the end of 6. You're watching Friday Night Blue Jays Baseball, presented by McCain.
The Dalton Varsho Gold Glove Bobblehead Giveaway. Wednesday, May 14th, you can be one of the first 15,000 fans to get your hands on this fun collectible. To learn more and get your tickets, visit bluejays.com/promotions. Dan?
You know, it'd be great is if they did a bobblehead on the catch that he made a few nights ago when he's fallen down and his back's to the play and he's just reaching out. And
That's a thought. I think you got to put that in the suggestion box.
might be a little late, but be fun. Nathan Lucas stays in the game in center. Chad Green's back on the mound. And Jhonkensy Noel will lead it off. He's 0 for 2. And there's a wide strike call in favor of the Blue Jays. Noel smiling about it. It's 0-1.
Guess that's all you can do at this point in the night.
And if you're Green, stay out there. A ball and a strike. Brendan Little now up in the bullpen. One and two, and again, as we told you earlier tonight, Noel will chase. So if you're Green, do you just stay with the slider and stay out there?
I would, yep. Stay right out there. Safest place to be, too. You don't want to miss middle in here at this point in the ball game. Give the hitter the advantage to hit one out of the ballpark. Make him use the big part of the ballpark.
Too far outside. 2-2. Tried a fastball, but he missed away. 3-2.
This is where that command is so important. Because the last thing you want to do is walk the leadoff hitter.
Number 9 hitter Brian Rocchio on deck. Grounded to third. Comes up sharply on Clement. He stays with it and makes a good throw. 1 down.
Good job coming back by Chad there, and he gets it out there on the outside part of the plate, gets him to roll it over, and Ernie handles a bit of a tough hop here. You see that hop right in front of the plate. He was going to come get it, but then he knows to back off just a hair, give himself a little bit of a better hop, and he makes a good throw to first.
Another guy with some time with Cleveland. He was in the Guardians organization, played for Cleveland.
They're everywhere.
Big leagues is where they are. Yeah. Everybody played for Cleveland. Rocchio fouls it back. Also, one other little peculiarity. Stephen Vogt, who was a player as recently as 2022, when he hit his last major league home run, in his last major league at bat, he rounded the bases and he came home and got a big hug from the on-deck hitter for the Oakland A's, and it was Ernie Clement.
How about that? Very cool. I remember that. Remember him running around the bases?
Yeah.
His family was there after. What a special time for Stephen Vogt. And now he has embarked on a managerial career, and it's going pretty well so far.
Slider down and in. Rocchio's saying it hit him, but did C.B. Buckner? I mean, he didn't do anything until after Rocchio said that it hit him.
Did he agree with him?
Will the Blue Jays challenge?
Pete said it's not even close. Now, you can't just have the hitter say it hit me and
Right.
take his base. No,
Blue Jays won't challenge.
must have gotten him. Rocchio reacted like it got him. Catch his toe, maybe.
And John Schneider's out to make a pitching change with the left-handed hitting Stephen Kwan coming up. That'll be all for Green. A little annoyed that he hit a Rocchio. Little coming in to face Kwan. So Brian Rocchio at first base after being hit by a pitch, and it barely got him, but it got him. Yeah. Just right on the right foot. The little baby toe on the right foot didn't do any damage. And the reason Green was so annoyed, he had gotten out in front of him 0-2, and then hits him with a pitch. The number 9 hitter is aboard, and now here comes Brendan Little, who has been a strikeout machine for the Blue Jays this year. But he's facing a guy who's about as tough to strike out as anybody in the big leagues in Stephen Kwan. Kwan 1 for 3 tonight.
Always an intriguing matchup. Really 2 pitches from Little. It's the sinker and the curveball. He'll mix in a cutter mostly to righties, but with Kwan, you can try to get the ground ball with a sinker, or you go for the swing and miss. This is a guy that doesn't swing and miss a whole lot. He's a contact hitter. Hardly ever swings at the first pitch, so try to get ahead with the heater.
And he does.
Like that. And now I think stay away.
A little bit in, a ball and a strike.
Tried to go away with that curveball, but he didn't spin it real well.
John Schneider just asked where that pitch missed. He's not in a great mood right now. That's a strike. 1-2.
It's not an ideal pitch, but as a left-handed hitter, it's coming at you, so you give up on it. And now he needs to throw that good curveball, really bury it. Kirk be ready to block.
Rocchio the lead. Not going. Kwan fights it off. I mean, that's a really good pitch in a very good location, but an equally good job by Kwan to get a piece of it.
Strikeout with a lot of hitters. That's a strikeout pitch against a lot of hitters. Good sharp break down and away off the plate.
These are the guys who get under your skin, right? Because you just can't put them away.
Keep making that pitch and you just hope for some soft contact.
Passed Jimenez and into right, a base hit. On a 1-2 pitch, Kwan got just enough of it to get it into the outfield, and the Guardians have runners at first and second.
He is such a tough hitter. This is how you hit 300 right here. You foul off an incredibly tough curveball down and away just to stay alive, and then you get to this pitch and roll it just past an outstanding second baseman.
There aren't many guys like this anymore. You go back into the 70s and 80s, and a lot of teams had guys who tried to play the game this way. There aren't many of them around, but boy, he plays
fun to watch, though, right? It's too bad there isn't more of it in the game.
So 2 on, 1 out, and now Gabriel Arias, who is 0 for 3. That's a good sharp curveball. Not that he didn't throw good sharp curveballs to Kwan, but again, Kwan's such a tough out.
A little more swing and miss and less contact from a guy like Arias compared to Kwan, so go for the punch out here. Yes.
Remember, too, that Jose Ramirez is out of the game with a mild sprained ankle. He was due to come up next, but instead it's Daniel Sheeman in the on-deck circle.
Now throw it again. You throw 2 good ones like that and he misses. I don't think you look good on either one. Throw it again.
He did, but Arias got a piece.
I'm skeptical at times of throwing the same pitch 3 times in a row, same speed, same location and all, but when you see a hitter take those first 2 swings, it tells me he wants no part of it. So I don't mind staying with it.
He's throwing that curve a lot more this year than he did last year, from 32% up to 44.
It's better, isn't it? It seems sharper with more depth.
There it is again. And again, it looks like a hard slider, but it's a knuckle curve. 89-mile-an-hour curveball. How many guys do that? Another one, and he got him to go.
Yes.
A big second out.
Not too many guys like Steven Kwan handle the curveball. I was from the left side, mind you, but as soon as Arias did that with those first couple swings, that's why you stay with it.
And now a pinch hitter coming into the game for the Guardians. This is Will Wilson, and that's why Pete Walker is out to the mound to talk to Brendan Little. Wilson was a Rule 5 draft selection from the Giants over the offseason and just made his major league debut 10 days ago.
So very little information on a player like this. Whatever they do have, it's from the minor leagues. But I'm not sure it changes the game plan of the guy on the mound. Going to see a lot more of those curveballs again, I think.
He's thrown 10 pitches in this outing. 9 of them have been the curve. And the sinker's a really good pitch.
It's a great pitch.
Yeah. Curveball, swing and a miss, 0-1. Very good numbers at AAA, you can see, for Wilson, and again in the big leagues just for the last 10 days. Tied at 3 here in the 7th inning between the Guardians and the Blue Jays. Stays with it. No chase. 1-1. bouncer to third, a big hop for Clement, and right to the bag for out number 3. Nice job by Little. 7th inning stretch at the Rogers Center.
Fans, get your outfield district ticket for just $20 all in and experience the best of the ballpark. Plus, the first 15,000 fans on Friday, May 16th will receive a City Connect Night Mode hat presented by Ryobi. Visit BlueJays.com/tickets and get yours today. Guys?
Emily, thank you. We got a good one. Got a tight one. Tied at 3 in the bottom of the 7th as these two teams open up this weekend series. Will Wilson stays in the game at third, which means that Gabriel Arias has gone back to where he started the game, back to second. Andres Jimenez leading it off. Bichette and Guerrero behind him. Matt Festus still on the mound for the Guardians. And a quick 0-2 count on Jimenez, who was 1 for 2. Had an infield hit his last time up. Borderline pitch goes the Blue Jays way. Ball 1. When C.B. Buckner's been wide, which has been often tonight, it's been away to both righties and lefties, not in.
Got away with one there, perhaps.
And another base hit for Jimenez. His second of the night, and there's some speed aboard here to begin the bottom of the 7th.
Take advantage of that. That could have been a strike 3 against Jimenez, but he stays with it, puts another good swing on it. He hit the ball hard up the middle earlier. Not trying to do too much here. Put it in play, make something happen, and he found a hole.
So let's see what the Blue Jays are thinking. Jimenez does have 8 stolen bases in 9 tries this year. But the top of the order is coming up now. Bo Bichette's 0 for 3.
Love that hole over there on the right side for Bo. I don't think you want to run right away, especially with these guys coming up.
Oh and 2. Guerrero on deck as the Blue Jays look to go back on top. Cleveland led. Blue Jays took the lead. The Guardians tied it. The Blue Jays took the lead again. Cleveland tied it. And that's where we sit right now. 3-3 bottom 7. Budzinski giving Andres Jimenez a little bit of information over at first. A couple of strikes on Bichette. There he goes. And a bouncer back to the mound, so the only play is to first. Jimenez to second on the ground ball.
He takes the shot. This pitch is very inside, and Bo gets jammed on it, just dribbles it back to the mound, but the runner is moved over, and to like your chances with the runner in scoring position and Vladdy and Santander coming up.
Guerrero's 2 for 3, a couple of base hits and a line out to right. A cutter misses upstairs for ball 1. And he takes a strike, 1-1.
Sometimes those cutters, they don't cut a whole lot. They become bad fastballs, and maybe Vladdy didn't quite pick it up, but let a pretty good one go by.
Popped him up, shallow right. Noel in to make the catch, 2 down.
Bring the colors of the ballpark to your home with Beauty Tone Paint's Toronto Blue Jays collection. Only at Home Hardware and Building Centers. Here's how.
So Jimenez representing the go-ahead run. He's out at second, but now 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. Maybe Anthony Santander's got another big moment in him. He's had a couple recently. 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Bounced up the middle, right to Rocchio. And the inning is over. 3-3 at the end of 7. Let's check in with Brad and Caleb in the Home Hardware studio.
There are 2 days left to join.
Anzardo, the batter. And a ground ball to the right side. Backhanded by Guerrero. The toss to Little in time for the out. And now if you're Little, you want to take a little extra time getting back to the mound. Catch your breath. You got Carlos Santana to deal with now. Santana's already 2 for 3. A home run, a single, and he has driven in 2 runs.
It's a really good time for a mound visit. It really is.
Yeah, you're right.
I was adamant
You're
about
right.
when a pitcher had to run over there like that.
Yeah.
Big part of the ball game here. And catch his breath.
And then a call at the bottom of the zone that goes the Guardians' way for ball 1. Little didn't like it. 1-1. Mason Fluharty now up in the bullpen. And Jacob Junis on the other side. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. Two and two. He stays with that hard curve.
What a pitch. Hitters know it's coming now because he's throwing it so much.
Threw it again, and that's chopped foul. He's thrown 19 pitches tonight. 16 of them have been the knuckle curve, and Dalton Varsho may be pressed into duty tonight.
George just making sure you getting ready to run. Yeah, okay.
Tie game, top 8. Another curveball, another foul off.
Is Mason Fluharty holding his side? He was coming back from first base.
Brendan Little.
Brendan Little.
I think with you. I agree with you. I think you're exactly right.
After he covered
something
first,
on his left side.
When I was talking about the mound visit, he's grabbing his left side.
Not good. This is popped up, and Bichette is going to make the catch, but I'm with you. I think he's got a little something going on that left side. Obviously not to the extent where he has called anybody out. Don't know who may or may not have noticed. Just a little grimace and a little grab once or twice.
And the pitches look good.
Yep.
But after he covered the first base bag, it's a long walk back. And that's why I saw him do it the first time. And I thought, okay, no, the pitches look good. But then he did it again.
Left on left with Bo Naylor. Naylor 1 for 3, a home run in the 4th. Pulled down to first. Guerrero's got it, and he will make the play himself as Little does get the outs here in the top of the 8th.
Visit BlueJays.com/promotions to get your tickets now.
Emily, thank you very much. Tied at 3 going to the bottom of the 8th. And George Springer, who's already homered in this game, his 3rd of the season, is going to lead it off. And he'll be facing a new pitcher for the Guardians, veteran right-hander Jacob Junis.
15th game of the season for Junis. That ERA just over 3. He's got a whip just over 1. Just 1 walk and 10 strikeouts. It is 14 2/3, so lots of contact.
The Guardians have a good bullpen. Emmanuel Clase is not having his best season after having an extraordinary season a year ago. He's not quite right yet. But they've got a guy, and everybody out in Abbotsford, BC is very familiar with him, and a lot of folks across the country, both countries, are very familiar with Cade Smith, who had a great rookie season a year ago and might be off to even a better start. If you're going to get Cleveland, this would be a great inning to do it because Cade Smith is a handful.
Junis, another guy not overpowering. He'll just be around 90 with that sinker, mixing that slider and change as well.
There's the slider. 2 balls and a strike on Springer with Kirk and Barger due up after him.
This bullpen has been taxed early on. The workloads have been up there, but they have been able to get a few good starts in a row.
Santana down the line and no play. This one is out of play, so Springer's still at the plate.
When your starters can go deeper into ball games, it certainly saves that bullpen.
They had a 10-inning game yesterday. Hunter Gaddis, another big part of their pen, has pitched each of the last 2 days. Neither Clase nor Smith pitched yesterday, but each of them pitched the 2 previous days. So the high leverage guys have been busy for Cleveland lately. They have played a lot of close games, and they've done very well in close games. One of the ways where you've got a negative run differential, -24, but you're 18-13, you're winning the close games, and they're 7-1 in 1-run games.
Pitching well, not scoring tons, right?
3-2.
They're in a tough stretch, too. Stephen Vogt talked about that today. 13 games in 12 days, and it started with a doubleheader against the Red Sox because of some weather in Cleveland. So they're in a tough stretch.
Ooh, very, very close, and it's ball 4 as Springer is on base again.
Depend guards won't make you a grill master, but they'll show leaks who's boss. Keep it dry, guys.
Bottom 8 here in downtown Toronto, and the Blue Jays looking for the lead. They've got George Springer aboard, and they've got Alejandro Kirk up. Kirk 2 for 3, including a 2-run single in the 3rd inning. And again, with a runner on, right-handed batter up, big hole on the right side of the infield. Oh, and 2.
Pretty sharp slider that time by Junis. Pretty good pitch, and those are the swings that Alejandro gets a good swing off, and a swing and a miss is okay. Better than putting the ball in play weakly. Still alive.
Springer running. And the throw down not in time. Springer with his 5th stolen base in as many tries this season.
Well, he sure picks his spots because he might have also been anticipating a breaking ball. And Bo Naylor gets a tough pitch to run on. When you have to go far to your backhand as a catcher to your right, it takes a lot longer, and it's hard to make an accurate throw and be quick with it.
Boy, now can Kirk at least put one in play to the right side and get Springer to 3rd with 1 out. Look where Carlos Santana is. He is way off the line. But all he's got to do is feel that he can beat Kirk to the bag if there's a ground ball to anybody. At the very least, Kirk wanting to advance Springer. This is popped up shallow down the right field line. It's a base hit. Springer now on his way to 3rd and in there, and Kirk gets the job done.
Gets the job done and then some. Gets himself a base hit. Stays on this pitch. That's what I meant about the 0-2 pitch. He stays on it so well, just missed it. And this one, he gets it right off the end of the bat, and you could not have placed it better.
His third hit of the game, and it'll also be the end of his night, but he has had a good night. Springer sizing it up, now sees it drop. Runners on the corners with nobody out, but Kirk's out of the game. Dalton Varsho is now running at first.
And you know what John Schneider is thinking right here. You want speed. You're trying to score 2 runs this inning.
Madison Barger trying to do some damage. Infield in for the Guardians. Inside, ball 1. Fouled off, a ball and a strike. Activity has resumed out of the Cleveland pen. Good take, 2-1. Meanwhile, on the Blue Jays side of things, Jeff Hoffman is up 2 innings 2 days ago, but efficient. 27 pitches in the 2 innings and ready to go here tonight. Swung on and missed. 2-2. Just trying to get something in the air deep enough to score Springer. Popped up. It's foul. Is it playable? It is for Santana, and out number 1.
Is a bunt in play right here, Dan. I can't think of a better time with a guy like Ernie Clement at the plate. First and third, 1 out. If Ernie can get something to the right side past the pitcher, George scores easily. A safety squeeze type play.
Safety squeeze, right? Yeah.
Ernie can control the bat.
Such a good contact hitter if he's swinging away. Varsho running. No throw through, and Varsho will go to second. Varsho stopped and looked into the plate. He wanted to see what the Guardians were going to do.
It was a slider way away. It looked like Ernie tried to bunt it. Just missed it.
So it's 0-1 on Clement. And a ball hit in the air, very shallow left field. Kwan coming way in to make the catch, and there's no way Springer can tag and try to score on that.
Nothing you can do when you're sitting there right now. All you need is a fly ball deep enough to score Springer, who runs pretty well, but Ernie can't get it deep enough. He's just out front of that hanging slider from Junis.
So it's going to be up to Nathan Lucas. His second at bat came on as a pinch hitter for Miles Straw back in the 6th.
I think if that first pitch is in the zone, Ernie bunts the baseball, and perhaps George can score. But because it took off, he missed the bunt. He'll take the 90 feet from Varsho.
Called a strike, 1-1 on Lucas. Springer in to score. Varsho racing home. Lucas into second, and it's 5-3 Blue Jays.
That is how you pick up your teammates. Nathan Lucas, again, we talked about his big base hit last night in the Blue Jays comeback, and how about this one? 2 on and nobody out. The Guardians retire 2, and Lucas comes up big.
Boy, what a good feeling for him. That's got to be 2 nights in a row with a very big hit in the bottom of the 8th. Set the table last night, knocked him home here tonight. pitching change for the Guardians. The Jays up by 2.
Feel good for a part-time player to contribute like this back-to-back nights.
So it's 5-3 Blue Jays. Left-hander Joey Cantillo is into the game to make his 13th appearance. You can see good numbers for him. He will face Andres Jimenez. Don't forget, Jeff Hoffman is up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Jimenez with a couple of hits tonight. Had an infield hit in the 4th and a base hit through the left side in the 7th.
Got to feel good against your former team. Stephen Vogt was asked about that today with Jimenez now on the other side and playing against his former team. And as a former player, Vogt said, oh, that's real. That's real when you're playing. You want to do really well against your former team, and Andres has done that tonight.
Looking ahead to the top of the 9th, it's the bottom third of the order coming up for the Guardians. Hoffman looking on from the left field bullpen. Sent foul down the left field line, 1-2. Five runs, 9 hits, and an error for the Blue Jays. 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for the Guardians. The Blue Jays try to extend the winning streak to 3. Up the middle, Rocchio to his left, scoops it up and throws him out. But Lucas drives in 2. The Blue Jays lead by 2, and Jeff Hoffman is on his way in.
Cheer on Canada's team. Rogers, proud owner and fan of the Toronto Blue Jays.
They've activated night mode here. City Connect night at the Rogers Center on a Friday night. And the Blue Jays with 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th, a 2-out, 2-run single from Nathan Lucas. Changes for the Blue Jays. Tyler Heineman is in to catch after Alejandro Kirk was lifted for a pinch runner. And Alan Roden is in the game in left field. He takes over for Anthony Santander. Again, the night off for Dalton Varsho and a night off for the shoulder. He pinch ran, but he doesn't stay in the game. Defensively, they've got their closer, Big Jeff Hoffman, on the mound.
2 innings on Wednesday night against the Red Sox, and that Blue Jays come from behind 10-inning victory.
The first batter for the Guardians, Angel Martinez.
Hoffman struck out 3 more hitters in that one.
His numbers are a bit outrageous on the season. He comes into the game 15 1/3 innings, only 8 hits, 1 walk, and it was an intentional walk. 22 strikeouts. And 3 times he has gone 2 innings in a game this season. All 3 have been games that went to extra innings, and the Blue Jays won all 3 of them. Drops a splitter in there, 2-2.
Mostly four-seamer and splitter against these left-handed hitters. He'll use the slider more against righties.
.98 away, fouled off by Martinez.
Lots of movement on all his pitches. He does throw a sinker, but that's a 4-seam fastball that just has that tail on it. He'll use the sinker more to go in on righties.
Out of play over the third base dugout. This is popped a mile up in the air behind second. Bichette will make the catch. 1 down. That baseball must look like a tiny little speck of
I was
like
up
a
there.
tiny little thing way up there by the ceiling before it comes
97
down.
miles an hour above the zone. Bo might be joking about that right now.
Yeah.
It took a while to come down.
Here's Nolan Jones coming off the bench to pinch hit for John Kenzie Noel. Jones, a left-handed batter with some power, a former second-round pick of Cleveland back in 2016. Broke in with the Guardians, was traded to Colorado a couple of years ago, and then reacquired during spring training this year. Takes it in, ball 1.
Big-time arm out in that outfield.
Had a really good rookie season with the Rockies 2 years ago. 20 homers, 20 steals. Finished 4th in Rookie of the Year balloting in the National League. Last year, though, some injuries and wasn't able to put together the same kind of season, and again reacquired by the Guardians. Inside, 3-0. And there for a strike, 3-1. So Jones hitting in the 8 spot. Brian Rocchio, the number 9 hitter, is on deck, and then Stephen Kwan would be after that if it gets that far. He's the leadoff man tonight. Again, remember that Jose Ramirez out of the game with an ankle sprain. And there's the first unintentional walk surrendered by Hoffman this season. Rocchio hits it down the right field line, but it is foul and out of play. So, Joe, the Blue Jays used their entire bench in this game. Lucas came on as a pinch hitter. Varsho came on as a pinch runner. And Heineman and Roden both came on defensively. Obviously, the Lucas move, the big one of the night, came on as a pinch hitter in the 6th, had the big hit in the 8th. The 2-run single that's made the difference right now.
And I think we'll keep seeing a lot of that at the bottom of the lineup. Pinch hit for some of those guys down there. And, of course, if you have to pinch run for Kirk, that's going to happen. And Heineman will enter a ball game. You won't do it too early because you want to make sure in case Alejandro has another at-bat coming up.
At the top of the zone, 1-2. Got him. Look at the movement on that splitter. 2 down.
These guys in this Blue Jays bullpen have a ton of swing and miss, and what a difference that makes late in ball games to not have balls put in play. We've seen it from Brendan Little, we've seen it from Jimmy Garcia, and we certainly see it from Jeff Hoffman.
Tough guy up right now, though, Stephen Kwan. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Down the right field line, Barger racing over, dives, and it's foul. He couldn't get to it, but it is just foul down the right field line. And look where Andres Jimenez is. The second baseman is out there. Had that ball been fair, ooh, and it didn't miss by much, maybe a foot, and hopefully Barger's okay.
Just off the end of the bat from Kwan, and Addison had a long ways to go, but he gave every effort to try to end this ball game.
That is an A+ effort. He's fine. Count on Kwan. The Blue Jays an out away. 0-2 the count on Kwan. Just low at 97, ball 1. Fights it off. Blue Jays, runner at first, 2 down. And the 1-2 again. And it's a fair ball down the left field line. Jones is going to be held at third, into second. Representing the tying run is Stephen Kwan, who does it yet again.
It is remarkable how he continues to get the barrel of the bat to the baseball. Some tough pitches from Hoffman in that at bat, including that very first pitch, the splitter that he fouled off down the right field line, but some good fastballs. That one a good fastball to the top of the zone, but he's got a very good flat bat path to get to that pitch.
What a tough out, and impossible to defend because he hits the ball all over the place. He's catching up with his former teammate Andres Jimenez. So now it is going to be Gabriel Arias, who is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Fastball foul back, 0-1. who represents the tying run. Excellent speed out at second. Slider right on the corner, 0-2. Try to split, miss down and away.
Infielders know they have to knock the ball down. Any ground ball, keep it in the infield any way that you can, especially with the speed of Kwan.
The 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fastball, slider, splitter, splitter. The sequence so far in this at bat against Arias.
Nice stop by Heineman to keep the runners at bay.
Now the 2-2. And a ground ball to third. Clement has it, and the Blue Jays win it. Hoffman, another save. Again, it's the bottom of the 8th where the Blue Jays get the big hit. Kirk had 3 hits tonight. Nathan Lucas with the 2-run single with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th to help this team to another victory.
Really another overall team effort. It took a while for the heroics, but Chris Bassitt kept his team in the ball game. That's what's key from your starter. The bullpen puts up a bunch of zeros, and it gives the lineup an opportunity, and Nathan Lucas comes through again off the bench in this ball game for the game winner.
So they've won 3 in a row, and they are back to the 500 mark at 16-16 with a 5-3 here tonight. Let's send you now to Sportsnet Central with Martine and Faisal.
George Springer, arm in the air, home run this game.